What's up, my financially intentional people? I have a special treat. We are joined today by Pete Reese, and he is going to expose us to the little known industry of land flipping as an investment opportunity. Hey, Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Nasima. It's great to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm in the personal finance community, fire community, and a lot of our investment portfolios typically just consist of index fund investing, but a lot of other people have real estate, but in the traditional sense of just buying and renting out property. So I'm very interested to learn about land flipping as a potential investment. But before we get into this, I want to know how you landed in land flipping and found out about this opportunity.
I never considered myself an expert in land by any means. I've been in real estate, I guess, since the early 2000s. My wife and I, we started like a lot of other people. We bought our first home with an FHA loan, 3.5% down, and held it for a couple years. And just because of market appreciation and some very questionable repairs that I did myself, we were able to increase the property value probably about $50,000. So when we sold it, we ended up with a check with about $50,000 after all closing costs and stuff. So I thought I was like a real estate mogul, and I thought this is too easy. Let's keep doing this. So we bought another house that needed work also. We did the same thing with that one. And then we started flipping homes. This was early 2000s before it was as mainstream as it is now. Now, there were still shows on HGTV and everything, and that's how we got somewhat interested in it. But we were doing that as a business for a while. Market actually then crashed in about 2008. And at that time, we were like, okay, probably not the best business to be in because there were very few regular buyers buying. It was just cash investors and everything that were buying because the financing dried up for a lot of people. So I had gotten my broker's license in California here a couple years before that, and I was just using it to find deals for myself. And when the market crashed, I thought, might as well just use this license for something because I knew there was a need for the banks to have agents to sell their properties for them. So I just focused on that niche for a while, just listing these bank owned properties for the banks. And not the best business to be in, honestly, but it did pay the bills at the time. So I was thankful for that when a lot of people were struggling in real estate. And then I got connected with a bunch of large investment companies through that were just buying and holding or buying and flipping a bunch of these properties, as many deals as I could find them. So I was just focused on that for a while, finding them as many deals as I could. I loved the investment side of things, but I was really scared off after the market crashed to get back into investments. I was young and I didn't really understand how things work. That was the best time to be buying stuff in hindsight. But anyhow, and then I got sidetracked. I got sidetracked in a good way on a business with my wife with training. It's an online education business. She's been a blogger for a long time, travel blogging and uh, lifestyle blogging and everything. And she had a lot of people asking her how to do it. So we knew there was demand there. So she wanted me to work with her on that. So I helped her build up the whole education side of things on that business. And that went really, we had many thousands of happy students. But I had the itch to get back into real estate because that was always my true passion. Decided that I wanted to get back in as an investor, but I didn't really want to get back into the house flipping again. Too many things can go wrong, a lot of things to manage and stay on top of. So I was just looking for something that was, I don't know, that caught my interest. And I stumbled into some people talking about land flipping, buying a property for 10,000, selling it for 30,000. And I thought, well, that's great. I'd love to do that. I love buying and selling stuff. So it seemed like a really good fit for me. I bought a training program on it and I went all in, learned everything I could, started sending out mail, which is how you generate your leads a lot of times in this business. And then that was at the end of 2020. And then our first deal we did in March of 2021. And in March, and then that first year ended up doing about 1.2 million in revenue and almost 50% gross profit margin too. So on average, we were able to, any property we bought, we were able to sell it for double what we paid for it after all closing costs. So buy a property for 20,000, sell it for 40,000, that type of thing. So it really worked out well. And that first year was about proving kind of the business model. The second year, we bumped it up even further, did about 3.5 million in revenue. And then this year we're already at 3.5 million and looking to hopefully close out by at 10 million by the end of the year. So really trying to scale it as much as we can, but it's a fun business, just buying and selling stuff. So we're buying properties off market and then maybe sometimes doing some minor stuff to them. Nothing like flipping a home though. And then we're reselling them on market. So
So are these properties or just like vacant lots?
yeah, these are vacant pieces of land. So there's lots of
Okay.
vacant land all over the country pretty much. And a lot of people that own them don't have any plans with them. They may have inherited the properties. They may have owned them for many years with the intent of maybe building on them one day and they just never got around to it. So a lot of times these properties are just sitting there. These people are tired of paying the property tax bills. They're just, it's not top of mind for them and anything like that. So we're sending out direct mail, like letters in the mail to people with an actual offer amount. And we base those offer amounts on average land prices in a particular area. And then sometimes people respond and are interested and but they want a higher price. So we work out a deal, whatever the case is. But we're just putting together deals as many as we can and just buying and selling.
So uh, from traditional real estate that you were in before, or more the flipping actual properties versus this, like what are the pros and cons that you see? And it seems like you've been extremely profitable, so I know you're successful in it. But why were you attracted to this more than going back to property flipping?
Yeah. Just for me, the ease of it, it just sounded like it was really high profit business and the ease of it too. I like the fact that we can buy a property and a lot of times we don't have to do anything to the property and then we resell it right away. Hold times on our properties really on average, or the first year was about 60 days. And then the second year, it was about average like 67 days or something like that. And then this year it's bumped up a little higher. I don't know if it's because of the market or just that I'm focusing on larger properties, but we're probably 90 to 100 days on average this year. So a little over 3 months, I guess right now is our average hold time. So it's quick and very little to actually do to these properties, which makes it super easy. Some of these properties, I've bought properties where just close on them and then put them on the market right away and then get a cash buyer and then we close it in a couple of weeks. It's great. Flipping is a lot more of an extensive process. A lot more things can go
Yeah,
wrong. And you've
and
got
a lot more
contractors to
people
deal
and
with.
things involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whenever you deal with contractors, you just build in a whole nother layer of
Yeah.
complexity. But it sounds like you've had extreme success in this. Like, how repeatable, how easy is this for anybody else to duplicate?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, there's 4,000 counties in the United States, and I don't know what the number of privately owned vacant pieces of land is, but it's just astronomical in this country. So basically, what we do is we just pick an area, we figure out kind of the values in that area, and then we send out our direct mail. Now, it's not like I'm here writing an address on an envelope and licking the envelopes, and I'm not doing any of that stuff. I just send a list basically to a mailing company. They send it all out, and then obviously that starts the phone ringing or the emails coming in or whatever the case may be. So it's just a matter of sending out more mail, picking more areas, and just staying on top of all the leads that come in. So it's very repeatable. So that's one thing that I liked about the business. It just seems so scalable. If you're looking for downsides, I would say that there's not as established of there's no real private lender type thing available with land flipping. So you've got two choices. You can either buy it all yourself, cash, or through a home equity line of credit or whatever you have set up, or you can take on a partner. And there are partners available in this business. And I've recently just stepped into that myself. And basically, what happens with the partner situation is that, at least the program I offer, is that if someone finds a deal, brings a deal, and then what happens is we partner with them on that deal. I send all the money to close the deal. And then when we resell the property, basically my team takes over and handles like the whole process from there. When we resell the property, whatever profits are there, we split 50-50. So for the investor that generates a deal, it's great because they don't have to spend any of their own money to buy these properties or anything like that. Plus, my team is really experienced and we get the deal done and sell it for as much as we can. And then from my perspective, it's great because there's like a continuous flow of deals coming in, and I'll do as many deals as there are deals. So yeah, it's a good win-win situation for sure.
So if you want really just want to get started, you can start in one of these partnerships with basically not having to pay anything, but just spending time on finding properties.
That's where the whole value is. You can find the properties. There's people like me that will take it from there. And then obviously what's cool too from the investor standpoint, the person that generates the deal, is there's no downside for them either. Say for instance, something didn't work out right and we lost money. It's not like I could come after them and say, hey, you owe me some half of my loss or anything like that. There's no downside. And so I think it's a pretty cool win-win thing. And it's something that when I got started in it would have been really, there were some people doing that, but they all had caveats. It's got to sell within 3 months. It's got to sell within 6 months or you don't get anything and that kind of stuff. So I eliminated all that stuff, and I'm kind of leveraging the team that I built up. So the investors that I work with, it's just kind of like I try to make it easy for them. Like just focus on finding the deals. We'll take care of the rest. And then we split the profits. I think that's a really fair way to do things and then kind of a win-win. So
So for people who are looking to add extra investments into their portfolio, how do you usually approach them as far as using this as a form of investment? Is it more of them like opening up like their whole infrastructure and firm like you do, or being like investors, the people who offer funding for people? Like how do you typically work with people who just want to use this as a form of investing?
yeah, there's a couple routes they could take. They could take it as like a side hustle situation, learn how to evaluate properties, send out mail, and then deal with it an hour or two here and there every few days or whatever to follow up on the leads and stuff. So that's one thing that I see people do sometimes. The other thing, if you want to be completely passive, there's always opportunities for private lending and things like that. Like I've got a couple private lenders that I work with here and there where they'll just basically lend their money to close the deal. And then we pay them 12% and give them a couple points on their money as well. And then they get repaid obviously when it resells. So it's a good win from them, good return percentage, and is secured by deeply discounted properties that we buy because we're trying to buy them for under 50% of what we think we could sell them for. So should be pretty secure in that way. So yeah, those are the kind of two routes that I see people taking. Or they started as a side hustle and they're like, why am I at my W-2 now? And when I could make more doing this as a side hustle than I'm making all year. And that stuff happens all the time. So
And how long from when you first started did it take you to build out your team and your systems?
mm-hmm. It pretty much, I just added it a piece at a time. It started as just me at the very beginning. And then I had an assistant that was working with me in another business. And I just started teaching him how to do certain things, certain tasks that I wanted to take off my plate. So I started like that. He was like part-time. And then I started putting more and more on his plate. And then I just gradually added people as the cash flow allowed and it as it made sense. Like certain things I didn't want to do anymore. Like I didn't want to call and talk to all the sellers and stuff like that. That was like one of the big first things that I did. It was like, okay, I'm going to hire someone to do this. And it worked out great. They're better than me at it. And they enjoy doing that kind of stuff and I didn't. So, and I just gradually just built it up over time as far as the team goes. We're all remote. So it's pretty easy all over the world too.
That's interesting. So you don't even have to be, it's location independent. You don't have to be in the
Oh,
areas
yeah.
where you invest in. Do you go out to inspect the land that you buy, or how does
No,
that
no,
process work?
no. We have a whole process built up where I don't ever see any of these properties. So one of the things after we get under contract is we're sending out a local photographer to go walk the property, take photos. We also get a broker opinion, local land broker. We have them give us their opinion on the value as well. So like the whole checklist of things that we check out before we actually send the money to close the transaction. But no, I don't ever see any of these properties. I did on a road trip our first year when we stopped at a couple of the properties we owned, and it was interesting, but it didn't really give me any additional perspective on those properties aside from the fact that I liked them. And I was like, should I even sell them? So that type of thing might happen. But I'm in California and I buy stuff all over the country, like East Coast, Midwest, Northwest. It doesn't matter. So
That's
Yeah.
cool. And now you work with people that buying land from different parts of the region too. You said internationally. So it's people are doing this all over the world. Pretty cool.
I'm sure people are doing it internationally, but the one thing we've got going for us here in
Hmm.
the United States is our public records. Now, like property ownership records are all public data, which makes the outreach really easy and it makes the property research really easy. Canada, for instance, it's not that way. And I know most other countries are
Hmm.
not that way as well. So it's real difficult to get information. So if you've got the data at your fingertips, like we do, like we've got great apps where I can just type in the county and the parcel number, and then I can look up so many different things about this property. I could see it on the map. I could see if it's on the road. I could see tons of different satellite images of it. I could see wetlands. I could see contours, all different things I could see on these properties. Without that, it would be tough unless you're really focused on a local area and you're going out to check all these properties out yourself. So maybe internationally, maybe that's what they do. Maybe they're just going out and stepping foot on these properties like that. But I don't have to do that, which is nice.
That's nice. But it seems like there's a a steep learning curve that you had to go through to understand like how to look up properties, how to contact people, how to put these systems in place to make it easier for you to scale. So
Yep.
for somebody that's just interested in getting into land flipping and learning about land flipping, where do you recommend them start?
Yeah, definitely it would be going to my community. I've just started a community towards the beginning of the year here where it's all about land flipping. So we've got brand new people in there, and then we've got people that are seasoned land flipping experts that are doing over $1 million a year in land flipping. So we've got everything in there. But the big cornerstone of the community really is a training program that I did, which I give away to everyone in the community. It's 100% free. It cost me tens of thousands of dollars actually to put it together. It's professionally done and edited, and I don't know how many videos, 100 plus videos probably. So it's all free. And the reason I do that is people are like, why would you give away the free? Because it's better than a lot of the other courses out there that they're charging thousands for. But the thing is that by doing this, I'll obviously teach people how to flip land themselves, and it's all the systems, it's everything you need to know from A to Z. And then by doing that, I'll be able to partner with people on their deals. And at some point, I'll have a mentorship program as well that I'm going to be offering to people that are looking for that extra level of assistance or whatever. But I don't have anything like that ready yet. But that's the goal: build up this community, show people how to do this business model, and yeah, just connect people. I know the rest will fall into place, and that's just what I'm looking to do. But yeah, to get to that community, I guess it'd help if I told you that would be to go to landconquest.com. So, and it's just the branding that we did for our community and the training program, landconquest.com. So,
I think it's actually extraordinary that you have put together that level of content and are giving it away for free because, like you said, there's a lot of programs out there that probably don't have the level of information but are charging a lot of money. But it goes to show that there's so much value in what you provide that you don't have to get those upfront wins in order to
yeah.
still be successful financially. So I really like that. And I encourage people to go check it out if this is something that you're interested in. And I love that your community is so broad that you have both novices, people just coming in, and people that are making millions. I just think this is phenomenal. And I can see like how this has provided your family financial independence. But I'm thinking like from my perspective, like coming in, like you said, there's a way to come in and you can make money without any kind of upfront capital, with just your sweat equity, your time equity, and that's amazing. But once people start really getting into the side that you're on as far as buying and flipping properties on their own, typically what do you see is the initial investment that people have to make good profitable deals?
Yeah. There's all different levels. A lot of the properties that I
Mhm.
focus on now are purchase prices anywhere from 20,000 kind of all the way up to the largest one I've done recently is 450,000. So that's the range. I'm looking at another one right now that's
Mhm.
500 something thousand, but so it just depends. But But other people, when they're just getting started, they focus on lesser price properties as well. Maybe anywhere from a few thousand. Some properties they can get really cheap, like these desert, like in the middle of nowhere properties. They're buying for 500 and selling them for 2,000. And obviously, that's a great return on your money. But it's hard to really stack it up and get some big numbers from that. But like I'll use my kids as an example, and I call them kids, but they're adults now. They're 23 and 21, two girls that when I first started the business, I was having them help me out quite a bit, just researching properties. I was trying to teach them the business and everything like that. But they came to me and they said, Dad, hey, can we do this too? And I thought, yeah, that'd be great. I would love for you guys to do that, because they had saved up some money. They had $8,000 between the two of them. So what they did was I just started giving them kind of the smaller deals here and there that were out of my area of focus. I wanted to focus on bigger properties. So they took that $8,000 and they parlayed it into 84,000 in about a year and a half. So yeah, and it was like 6 properties.
Okay.
So, a lot of the properties they bought were like 6 or 7,000, and they may have sold it for 20, So, and they had a couple that went well and a couple where they, made some profit, but it wasn't a home run by any means. But over those 6 deals, yeah, they were able to accelerate it pretty quickly. And so I think so. I know something like that's definitely pretty possible. You don't have to start with a huge bankroll of hundreds of thousands of dollars or something like that. So
Well, first of all, kudos to you for getting your kids involved in your business and them seeing that side and then being like, oh, okay, we can do this too. And I think that's extremely like amazing that they were able to generate so much revenue in a year. Most 20-year-olds,
yeah,
let's face
I'm
it, aren't
where I
making
was at
that
at that
kind of
age. I
money.
was living
Yeah.
paycheck to paycheck, and so
Yes, but it just goes to show what's possible and that sometimes we just don't know what's out there. And so I love that you're exposing my community to these opportunities because people are always looking for ways to either increase their income or even transition out of like their traditional 9 to 5 work. And this seems like an amazing opportunity that not too many people know about. And so I think that it would be really advantageous for people to check out your community, check out your course, see if this is something that is viable for them. But again, I love that you offer it for free. The amount of stuff that you are giving away. Yeah.
and honestly, there's no catch. But my goal with it is to get grow the community as big as we can. And I know the mentorship program, I'll be able to offer that in the future, and I'll do well with that if I can build a great community of people that are interested in what we can offer for them, but also partnering on deals. So that's a great thing for me if people can generate deals and I can partner with them and it set up a win-win scenario. So that's the catch. So
And it seems like a pretty win-win catch for everybody
that's the way I
involved.
try to think
And
about
it's
it.
just,
Win. So
yeah. Nowadays, you have to be careful about like
yeah.
snake oil salesmen. There's a lot of people out there that are just like, you can just do these things and then you'll be a millionaire in no time. And it's just, okay.
I know.
But wait,
If it
there's
sounds
a
too good.
catch. Like,
Yes.
and typically it's just, yeah, it's just them trying to sell a product or a book. So the fact that you're delivering all this information and value upfront, that's really free and like just benefiting off of the relationships that you build, I feel like is really admirable. And I can tell that your wins are other people's wins. And so it's not like you're using this as like a get rich quick for you and taking
Yeah.
advantage of other people. It's truly providing value for people and helping people grow financially. So I appreciate what you're doing. I think that it's an amazing opportunity for people. I'll definitely check it out for myself because why not?
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, let's share like where people can connect with you, how they can get access to your training program and your group.
Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, so first thing, the community, and which is where the free course is and everything, is landconquest.com. Try to make it a kind of cool and different branding than anything else that's out there. So hopefully you'll appreciate that. The other thing is I have a website called turningprofit.com, And it's related. We have a podcast as well, and we talk a lot about land flipping on there. But the turningprofit.com is the home base for the podcast. But on that website, what I do is every month I do an income report. That's my land flipping income report. So it basically talks about what we did in our business that month, like the revenue we took in, the profit, each and every deal that we did, like what we bought it for, what we sold it for, how much profit we made, how many days we held it, and a bunch of notes about each deal we did that month. So I've been doing that for about, I guess, about a year and a half now. And so every month I do that. It's a lot of work, but it's people tell me they like it and they get to see what's possible, I guess. And I had also did another thing on there, which I think is pretty interesting, but it's the 50 first deals that we did. So, and I it's like a screen record thing where I go through the numbers of the 50 first deals, like the first deal we did, like what I bought it for, what I sold it for, profit and days they held it for, everything, and tell a little story about each property. So I think that's very insightful if you're curious about the land flipping business. So that's another thing. And then obviously on Instagram, Reese Peter. So it's like my name backwards. So Reese Peter. And then on YouTube, it's at Turning Profit. So we do a lot of YouTube videos and stuff as well. So
Oh my God, that's so cool. And first of all, I love the receipts. I love you breaking down the numbers.
that's what it's
I
all about.
love
You
and
got
it,
the
and
number.
it
It's all
just
about the numbers. That's the way I feel too. So
100%, 100%.
yeah.
I love to see the numbers. So I'm definitely going to check this out. I think that this is an opportunity that people should not sleep on. This is something that is definitely worth checking out. And it's just an investment of your time because he's offering a whole lot of free game. So I think you and people in this community could really benefit from just taking the time to learn more about this as an avenue of wealth building. Here in Financially Intentional, we believe in growing your revenue as opposed to scarcity and cutting back. So this is definitely something that you can do and a sustainable system that's replicable and that I feel like is pretty profitable. So I appreciate you, Pete, for taking the time and joining us and teaching us about this amazing opportunity. I've learned so much, and I think our community will benefit from this as well.
Thanks, Nasima. I really appreciate you having me on here and highlighting me to your community. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you again. And I'll make sure to put all the links in the show notes where everybody can access the information. And make sure you guys hit up Pete if you have any other questions. So thank you.
Thanks.